which is page 577. Okay, today we are going to talk about polar coordinates. Polar coordinates. So this is related to trigonometry. This is related to trigonometry. How do you write the polar coordinates is, so you have this axis here which is known as the polar axis. You have this straight line which is going like this. This is known as the polar axis. From here you have a line going here. From this point to some point here, this distance, this point to this point, this distance is known as r. This distance is known as r, and the coordinate of this point will be r, and whatever angle theta they are making, that's how you write the coordinate of this thing, and this is known as polar coordinate. Basically, where r is basically how much is the measurement of this thing, from here to here how much are we going, that is your r, and theta is how much angle it is making with the polar axis. So this is known as polar coordinates. Example if I can say here, so I have this as my polar axis here. From here to this point my measurement is 2. This is 2 to this point. Okay, and I say what's the coordinate? This is my 0 here, and this is my pi by 4. I say write the polar coordinate. How do you write the polar coordinate for this thing is 2, whatever is the length, comma, and whatever angle it is making with the polar axis, pi by 4. So that's how you write the polar coordinate. Next thing is, one more interesting thing about this thing is polar coordinates is, my r could be negative also. So if I say you have to graph -2 pi by 4, I say graph -2 pi by 4. Graph this coordinate, polar coordinate. How you're gonna graph this one is, so again you're gonna draw this axis. Okay, since it's -2, first, okay, draw it the same way. Suppose it's positive, but draw a dotted line. I draw a dotted line here. Okay. This coordinate here would be positive 2 pi by 4, but I want negative. So how you're gonna draw the negative is, just take it in the other direction. Just make a straight line in the other direction. Here, 2 centimeters from here will be my -2 pi by 4. It's just as you're gonna draw a straight line, so this will be your answer. This will be a solid line because that's your answer. So it will be like this. So first, in case you have to draw positive number and a coordinate, just draw it directly. But in case they say a negative number, your r is negative, but your angle is just pi by 4. So pi by 4 I know is here. This thing is my pi by 4. This is my 2 here, but I need -2. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna draw the straight line, and in the opposite direction you will take as -2. So this is -2 pi by 4. Anyone has any doubts with these two things, how to draw? You should know how to draw the polar coordinates. Let's do more examples. You'll get with more examples. Let's do more examples. So example, I have to draw 3, 5 pi by 4. 3, 5 pi by 4. I want you to graph this thing. Eduardo?
Yes.
Yeah. So can you tell me how do I draw this? This is my polar axis. Okay. First, let's see where is 5 pi by 4. What is 5 pi by 4?
That's going to be in the third quadrant.
Third quadrant, which is? How much is 5 pi by 4 in degrees if I have to make?
That would be 180. That would go over 180. So
if you want to do calculate here, how do you do it is multiply by pi by 5 pi by 4 multiply by 180 over pi. You get this, get 290 and 45, which is 225. 225. So 225 is basically here in my third quadrant. You're correct. I draw it here. Okay. What else? How do I draw? Next thing. How do I draw this 3? 5 pi by 4 I drew here.
If you get the angle, and then the theta is going to be 5 pi over 4.
Yeah, okay.
And but we're going to be going inside the axis, right?
Yeah, inside the axis, how much?
For the other one, it's going to be 3 pi over 4.
Yeah, 3. So 3 units on that line I will go. So this point here will be 3, 5 pi by 4. Any questions, anyone? How I drew this? 3, 5 pi by 4. First, you always draw the angle, and since it's positive, just make the point. Go that much units on that line. Let's do one more example. You are given 2 negative pi by 4. 2 negative pi by 4. Okay. Karen?
Yes.
Okay, Karen. Let's draw this one. This is my polar axis here. Okay. First is you draw the angle. Where is negative pi by 4?
In the fourth quadrant?
Yes, it's the fourth quadrant, which is negative 45. You go here. So this is negative pi by 4. Okay. How do I draw this 2?
In the new line?
Yeah, in that new line, you go just 2 centimeters. So basically, you reach somewhere here. From here to here, the measurement will be 2 centimeters. Okay?
Okay.
And this coordinate will be 2 negative pi by 4.
Pi by 4.
Let's do one more example here. So I want you to draw 3, 0. Okay. Shaira?
Yes.
How do you get 3, 0?
Zeros in like the first quadrant.
So let's see here. First this is my polar axis, right?
Right.
Then second point gives me the angle 0. Where is 0?
It's still straight.
It means it's on this same line, right? This angle. I'm not moving because I'm not moving anywhere. It's a 0 angle. Okay. 3. How do I draw this 3?
And go 3 centimeters.
Yeah, just go 3 centimeter on this line. So this is your 3, 0. Perfect. Samantha?
There's only like 6 of us. Or no, never mind.
Oh.
If the edges all joined.
Angel?
Yes.
Okay, Angel, for next point I want you to draw is, okay, negative 2 pi by 4. Okay, let's draw this first. This is my polar axis, okay?
So are we going to go in the opposite direction for negative 2 or no?
First is to draw the angle. What is your angle? Pi by 4. Pi by 4 is in which quadrant?
Quadrant 1.
Quadrant 1. This is your, but it's negative, so I'm going to draw a dotted line.
Okay.
Okay. And you say this is pi by 4. Okay. Okay. What about, first let's do, since it's negative, I'm going to extend this line, okay? And make it like this. Now negative 2, where do I go? Where will I put it, here or here? 2 units.
The one at the bottom?
Yeah, solid one. Since it's negative, you have to extend it and it will go in the opposite direction. So it will become negative 2. This will be pi by 4. these 4 examples, anyone has any problem with these 4 examples we did so far? Or you want me to give you more problems on this?
So I have questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Once you do like from the polar axis, you like do the pi over 4. Does that become the new axis? That's what you're basing it off of?
So
So if it's positive, it's on the dotted line. And then if it's negative, it's on the solid line down below.
yes, exactly, yes. Yes.
Okay.
The angle will still remain pi by 4. It's just if it's positive, it will stay on this line. If it's negative, it goes on the other line.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me give you more examples on this, and I want you to do this by yourself. Try these yourself. So A is I want you to graph 2 negative 11 pi by 6. B, you need to graph 3 and 90 degrees. And C, you have to graph negative 1 negative pi over 3. Try these 3 problems right now. Carly? Jelena?
Yes.
Okay, Jelena. Let's see the first one. 2 and negative 11 pi by 6.
Okay. So, negative 11 pi by 6. I'm having trouble locating the quadrant it would land in.
So how do you convert it? Let's convert into degrees. It will be easier for you, right? So how do you convert
Yes.
radians into degrees?
So, you would do
Multiply with
180.
180 over pi.
Yes.
This pi and pi gets cancelled. 6 times 3, 30, right? So you get
Yes.
negative 330, right?
Yes.
So let's draw. This is my polar axis. Sorry, I drew it wrong. So this is my polar axis here. This is 0. Okay. Polar axis. Since my angle is negative, that means I'm gonna go clockwise. Okay. 330.
Okay.
If I go clockwise, what do you think? Which quadrant will I come? This whole circle is how much?
The whole circle is 360.
360. So if I start here, which quadrant will I go?
You will land in quadrant 1.
Quadrant 1, exactly. So you go like this and you will reach here. And this is your
Okay.
quadrant 1. Okay. Now, how do I draw this 2?
You just go 2 centimeters on the top line.
Exactly, correct. So this one. So this was negative 11 pi by 6. So this quadrant becomes 2, negative 11 pi by 6. This is your coordinate. Good. Okay, Axel. Is Axel here? No. Alejandro? No. Jose?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. What about this one, B part?
So basically, since it's 90 degrees, it's going to be straight up,
Okay.
and you're going to go 3 centimeters up.
Yeah. So
So
it becomes
you'll get 3.
perfect.
pi over 2, basically.
Yeah, really good. Yeah. First, you always draw the angle and then do the whatever r is it. R means how many radius. What's the radius? How much you're going. So that will be your r. Okay, Christopher.
Yes.
Okay, let's see this one. How do you draw -1 negative pi by 3?
Okay, so you draw the polar axis first,
Okay.
and then pi over 3 is 60 degrees, but it's negative, so you have to go down 60 degrees,
Okay.
which is 5 pi over 3, or 300 degrees.
So okay, so it is still negative. It is negative pi over 3. Okay.
But since it's a -1, you have to go in reverse, so it would be the dotted line in this case.
Yeah, this was supposed to be the dotted line, and it will go up here. Yeah.
And then it would be 1 centimeter up.
Yeah, it will be this point. So this in the opposite direction, it will be -1 negative pi over 3. Correct. Any questions, anyone, with these things? Especially with the negative sign. The only confusing part is when it's negative. You have to draw the straight line, and you have to go that much unit in the other direction. The angle still remains the same.
Miss K, I have a question.
Yeah.
How come for -1, negative pi over 3, the dot is on the top? Wouldn't the top be positive?
So see here. So see here. Why it is actual? If I say, okay, Jelena, you have to draw 1 negative pi over 3, right? How would you
Yes.
have drawn is, this was your polar axis, negative pi over 3 is here, right? You would have drawn 1 here, and this was your 1 negative pi over 3. Okay?
Okay.
But if I say, Jelena, you have to draw -1 negative pi over 3. So your first thing is to draw the angle, right? But since it's
Yes.
negative, you will draw a dotted line. Okay? You will draw a dotted line. This is negative pi over 3. If I draw 1 here, if I draw 1 centimeter here, if I put the point here, it will become 1 negative pi over 3. Are you getting my point? But I need -1. So I will go in the other direction. I'll extend this line in the other direction, and I will take 1 unit here.
I see.
You got it?
Yes, I got it. Thank you.
Is it kind of like we're making our own little mini unit circle?
Exactly. Yes.
But like the x-axis is the one that's going to be changing, like say centimeters.
Yes. You will see we will be doing in rectangular coordinate also. Right now I'm just telling you in polar coordinates. We will be going to rectangular coordinates also. You will be able to link all of these. Yes. Yeah. So next thing is, one thing you should know about this thing is finding several polar coordinates of a single point. So suppose the point is given to me as 2 pi by 4. 2 pi by 4. So technically if I have to graph this 2 pi by 4, this is my polar axis. Pi by 4 is here. I go 2 units here. So this becomes 2 pi by 4. There are different ways of writing this. Okay. If I say this point, there are so many different ways I can write this point. Okay. Right now this is pi by 4. That's why it's coming out to be this point. So this is pi by 4 here. What happens if I start from here, take this whole circle, come back and come here back again? It's gonna still give me the same point. So basically in this, I start from this point, go all the way, take the whole circle and come back to this point. It's gonna give me again the same thing, same line with same distance. So basically in pi by 4, if I add 2 pi, which comes out to be pi by 4 plus 8 pi over 4, which is 9 pi over 4. So technically the coordinate 2, 9 pi by 4 will also give me the same answer. Because what I'm doing is I'm going all the way, I'm starting from this point, I'm going all the way around and coming back to this point. That means I'm adding 2 pi. 2 pi, that means 360 to the original angle. I'm coming back to the same point. So this will also give me the same coordinate. What about if I start from here? So I start from here now. Start from this point. So let me draw another. So it's not confusing. So this was my point. This was
So,
yeah.
if we're given like if we're not given like 4 pi, but if we're given like 9 pi over 4, we would just subtract 2 pi to get the original like coordinate.
You can do that. Yes, you can do that. You can do that, but you don't have to do it. It's just that if they ask you, if they say, tell you, find several polar coordinates representing this point. What are the different other ways you can write this point?
Oh, okay. So then that's why you write the
Yeah.
pi over 4 plus 2 pi.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
You don't have to convert it back to this. It's just that you should know, in case they ask you what are the other coordinates, you should know how to find it. So you add 2 pi.
It wouldn't be plus 2k pi?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Okay.
That's true. Yes, you're correct. Even in this case, so if you have this thing here, what happens if I start with a clockwise direction? With a clockwise direction. From here, so you had here 2 pi. But from this point, if I subtract 2 pi, what happens? I will reach back to this point again. But in clockwise direction. Here if I add 2 pi, I'll still get to this point. What if from this point I subtract? So from pi by 4, I subtract 2 pi, I will get to the same position again. So it becomes pi by 4 minus 8 pi over 4, which is negative 7 pi over 4. So basically 2 negative 7 pi over 4 will also give me the same point. So if you add 2k pi or 2 pi or you subtract 2 pi, you're still gonna get to the same point. So basically adding 2 pi, subtracting 2 pi gives me the same angle. Nikhil, can you close these? Can anyone suggest me, is there any other coordinate?
We can do the positive version of that, right? Or no?
So what happens if I want, there is one more coordinate. I will give you an idea. So this was my coordinate here initially. Okay. This was my point. This was 2 pi by 4. I want something negative 2. Negative 2 of what angle do you think will be this point?
Would that be 3 pi over 4?
How did you get 3 pi over 4?
I just subtracted the 7 pi over 4 by pi.
Not 7 pi by 4. You think just pi by 4. How do you you don't have this. This is another point, right? Don't consider this thing. Consider the original one. 2 pi by 4. How will this become negative? If I go in the other direction, right? And how much is this angle? How much is this whole angle?
Oh.
Pi.
So yes, you add pi to the original angle.
That's going to be 5 pi over 4.
Exactly. So negative 2, 5 pi by 4 will also give me the same point, this original point. So if you add 2 pi, you will get the same point. Subtract 2 pi, you will also get the same point. But other coordinate is, you can say, is opposite sine, and then you can say angle plus pi. So these are the 3 ways you can get the same point: by adding 2 pi, by subtracting 2 pi, And by changing the sign, opposite sign, if it's positive, make it negative. If it's negative, make it positive. And in angle, you add pi. Example, let's do they have example for this one? No. Okay. Let's do one question on this. So it says here, okay, it says plot the point P with polar coordinates 3 pi by 6, okay, and find other polar coordinates r theta of this same point in which first you are given r is greater than 0 and theta is between 2 pi and 4 pi. B, it says r is less than 0, so r is negative and it is 0 less than theta less than 2 pi. And B, you are given r should be greater than 0 and it should be between negative 2 pi theta less than 0. Yeah, these are the three different parts you are given. Okay. Joshua?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. It says plot the point P with polar coordinates 3 and pi 6. How do you draw that? First, let's draw this.
So first you draw the polar coordinate.
Okay, polar axis. Okay.
And pi over 6 is at 30 degrees.
At 30, yeah, so it's in first quadrant. Okay, I drew this.
And you make it 3 centimeters away.
Okay, 3 centimeters away. So this is my 3 pi by 6. Okay. Now it says I have to find the same angle. It says find other polar coordinates r theta of this same point. I have to find the same, this will be exactly the same point, but a different way of writing it. How you need an r to be positive. R should be positive, so r will still remain 3. But my theta should be between 2 pi and 4 pi. How do I find that?
You can do the adding 2 pi and subtracting 2 pi.
So if it's just between 2 pi and 4 pi,
Oh,
so
adding?
you're just gonna add. Yes. Since they want between 2 pi and 4 pi, in the original angle you add 2 pi. What do you get?
Pi 6 plus 2 pi. Would it be 13 pi over 6? Because pi over 6?
Okay, 5 pi by 4. I want to make here my denominator is the same, right? Right now, what's my denominator?
4.
1. So I multiply by 4 and divide by 4, right? What does it become?
9 pi over 4.
Yeah, 8 pi over 4, which is basically 9 pi over 4. So this is...
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why is it pi over 4 and not pi over 6?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. It's pi over 6. So you're going to multiply
Okay.
by 6. Yeah. So what does it become?
13 pi over 6.
Yes, 13 pi over 6. Thanks for correcting me. Yes. It's 13 pi over 6. I'm sorry. So this will be 13 pi over 6. So if they're asking between 2 pi and 4 pi, you just add 2 pi. Okay. Gerald? Daniel?
Yes.
Yes, Daniel, here. What about the second one? I want my r to be negative now. So my r should be negative 3. And I want between 0 and 2 pi only.
0 and 2 pi, is that?
So how do I make it negative?
Okay, so you put a dotted line across the initial line.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
the what's it called? Diagonal line.
Okay. I want this point here. It should be negative 3 what? Of what angle?
Of pi over 6.
Pi over 6, not just pi over 6. How do you do? Pi over 6. See, we did here. I told you there are three ways of getting it. 3 ways here.
Yeah, it's plus 2 pi minus 2 pi
And then
plus pi. So it will be plus pi?
Just
pi
plus
over
pi.
3 plus pi?
Yes, exactly. Pi over 6 plus pi. If they want opposite sign, you just add pi. So what do you get?
It will be 7 pi plus over 6.
Yeah, so you get 7 pi over 6. How do you get is make common denominator, multiply by 6, divided by 6. It comes out to be 7 pi over 6. Anyone who did not understand how I got 7 pi over 6? This is the only tricky one here with negatives. And one die?
Yes.
Okay. Now they say in the third one, again my r should be positive. So r will still remain 3. But my theta should be between 0 and negative 2 pi. How do I get that?
0, negative 2 pi. Oh, jeez. Would you do pi over 6 minus?
Yeah, minus what? You're correct.
Minus, oh really? Minus pi over 6?
No.
No.
See here.
Minus 2 pi.
Yeah, we did.
Negative 2 pi.
If you
over
will,
1.
Yeah, if you will add 2 pi, everyone, you will go another, like it will be between 2 pi to 4 pi. If you subtract, you're gonna go back, so it will become, you basically gonna go to negative 2 pi 0 to theta to 0. You basically, when you add pi, you're technically staying in the same thing, 0 to 2 pi. So basically you subtract 2 pi. When you subtract 2 pi, what do you get?
You subtract 2 pi. Oh. So then you would multiply 6 from both sides.
Yeah.
So then it'll be pi over 6 minus 12 pi over 6.
Which is?
So that would be 11 pi over 6.
Negative 11 pi over 6.
Negative 11 pi over 6.
So that's your answer. Sorry, pi over 6. Let's do a poem on this. So for this thing,
What does that look like when you draw it?
so how it's gonna look is, it's technically gonna be the same point. So it's gonna be, again, technically we're talking about this point only. It's gonna be this point only. But now in this case, negative 11 pi over 6, that means you're gonna start from here in a clockwise direction. And you reach here, the same point. And this will be 3 negative 11 pi over 6. Negative angles means you're doing a clockwise thing. If you're done, I want you to find, now you're given, question says, plot the polar coordinate. You're given 5, 2 pi over 3, and they say and find other polar coordinates r theta of this same point for which we are given a as r than 0, negative 2 pi less than theta less than 0, b you are given as r less than 0, theta 2 pi, and c you are given as r should be 0, 2 pi less than theta less than 4 pi. Okay, Eduardo.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have 5 2 pi over 3. So how do you do 2 pi over 3? So which quadrant? How do I plot this?
That's going to be in the second quadrant.
2 pi over 3 is basically how much degrees?
That's going to be 120.
So which is basically, yes, you're correct. So it's going to be in this quadrant. Okay, and how do I get this coordinate 5 2 pi over 3?
Repeat that again.
How do I plot this?
The angle is going to be 2 pi over 3.
And
then
how do I get this 5?
what?
How do I get this 5 here?
You just put the dot on the end.
Okay, yeah, just 5 units. So basically you have going 5 units here. So it becomes 5 2 pi over 3. You're going 5 units on this line. Okay.
Yes.
Now my A part says my R should be greater than 0. That means my R is my first coordinate and my angle should be between negative 2 pi and 0. Okay. R means, so that means my R is 5, right?
Yes.
It will still remain 5.
If it's going to be a negative, we can make an entire rotation. We'll make negative 2 pi to get the inverse version of that.
Negative 2 pi. So how do I get that?
You multiply 2 pi over 3 with 2 pi, negative 2 pi. So that means subtract it, sorry.
Yeah, you subtract it, yes. So what does it become?
That's going to become negative 4 pi over 3.
Yes, so minus this becomes 6 pi over 3. So basically, which is negative 4 pi over 3. Perfect. Okay, let's do the B part. Karen?
Yes.
I want my R should be negative and my theta should be between 0 and 2 pi. What's my R?
Negative 5.
Yes, it will become negative 5. And now I want my theta should be between 0 and 2 pi. How do I find it?
2 pi over 3 plus pi.
Yeah, exactly. You just add pi in 2 pi over 3, which comes out to be what?
5 over 3 pi.
Yeah, 5 pi over 3, correct. And when you graph this, how it's gonna be is, so basically, you're still gonna get this answer only, this point only, but this point now will be negative 5 pi over 3. So technically, it's gonna be dotted line like this. C part here. Shaira?
Yes.
Now they want your R should be greater than 0, but your angle should be between 2 pi and 4 pi. So what's my coordinate?
R is 5.
Mm-hmm.
And we will add 2 pi over 3.
Good.
Then we'll add 2 pi.
It is 2 pi. What do you get?
8 pi over 3.
How much?
8 pi over 3.
Yes, you get 8 pi over 3. Now again, you're gonna, from this point also, you will get the same point here. Same. But now the coordinate will be 5 and 8 pi over 3. Correct. Any problem with this example? Anyone? Next thing is now we are relating to what we have done before. So whatever we have done before, now we're going to relate it. Remember, if I told you what was cosine theta? Cosine theta was basically x over r. And sine theta we did was y over r. We did this. From here, if I say find the value of x and y, if I say find the value of x and y, so x is basically what? R cosine theta. And from here, y is equal to r sine theta. So basically, you can say, if you want to write the definition, it says if P is a point with polar coordinates, if this is a point with polar coordinates r theta, the rectangular coordinates x, y of P is given by, so the rectangular coordinates will be given by x, y, where x will be equal to r cosine theta and your y will be equal to r sine theta. So basically, if they give you the polar coordinates and they say find the rectangular coordinates, you just plug in the value of r and theta and find your rectangular coordinates. Example here. Example, so if it says find the rectangular coordinates of the points with the following polar coordinates. You know difference between the polar coordinates and rectangular coordinates? What's the difference is? The difference is when you're plotting the polar coordinates, first you graph, so if I give you they are basically r theta. First you need to have a polar axis, then you mark the theta, and whatever is your r, you mark that point. So it becomes r theta. But if I give you rectangular coordinates, I say mark xy point, xy. So what you're going to do is, rectangular coordinates, how does it look like? It looks like this. Just plot wherever is the x point, join it to the center. That's how you graph it. In case of rectangular, you just plot the point and join the line. But in case of polar coordinates, first you need to draw the theta and see your r accordingly. That's the difference between polar coordinate and rectangular coordinate. Now what in the question, they're going to give you polar coordinates and you have to convert into rectangular coordinates. How do you do it is, so you're given is 6 pi by 6. They want you to convert into this thing. Okay, Samantha, Angel.
Yeah.
What's your r?
R6.
And what's your theta?
It is pi over 6.
Okay, what's the formula for x? I want to find x and y. That's my rectangular coordinates.
Formula is r cosine pi,
theta.
R cosine theta.
So r is basically 6, theta is pi over 6. Okay, what is cosine pi over 6?
That's root. That's 30 degrees. So
Root?
Yeah, root 3 over 2.
Yeah, root 3 over 2. When you simplify, what does it become? 6 root 3 over 2, which is? Can you divide 6 by 2?
Yeah.
What does it become?
3 root 3 over 2.
Just root 3 root 3.
Oh, just root 3?
Just 3 root 3. Remember 6 and 2 and 6 cancel.
Oh. Oh, and then the 2
Simplify.
goes, yeah.
So you got your x as 3 root 3. How do I find my y?
That to find y, it's y equals r sine theta.
R sine theta. Let's put. So you get 6 sine pi by 6. What's sine pi by 6?
That's 1/2.
1/2. What is 6 times 1/2?
Is 3?
3. Yes. So you get y as this thing. So basically you convert it from these two technically are same. This is just the polar form. This is the rectangular form.
Oh.
Let's do one more example here. Okay. Christopher,
Yes.
-4, -pi by 4. I want you to convert. This is your polar form. I want you to convert into rectangular form.
Okay, so to find, so r is going to be -4, and theta is going to be -pi over 4.
Okay.
X is going to be r cosine theta,
X is equal
so
to
it's going to be -4 cosine of -pi over 4.
okay, cosine of -pi over 4.
And the cosine is going to be root 2 over 2, so it's going to be -4 times root 2 over 2,
Okay.
which is going to be -2 root 2.
Okay, so you found your x as -2 root 2. How did you know it is root 2 over 2? -pi over 4. How did you know it is root 2 over 2?
So pi over 4 is 45 degrees, but since it's negative, I just went down 45 degrees, which is 315 degrees.
Really good. Yes, exactly. How do you find your y?
So y is going to be r sine of theta.
Okay.
So it's going to be -4 sine of -pi over 4.
Okay.
And then sine is going to be -root 2 over 2.
So you have -4, -root 2 over 2.
So then the negatives cancel. So then it's just +2 root 2.
Positive 2 root 2. Correct. Really good, yes. So your rectangular coordinate is -2 root 2 and then +2 root 2. Any questions, anyone, with this thing? You want me to do examples on this, or anyone who wants me to do more examples on this, how to convert from polar to rectangular? No?
Hey, can you leave the paper there?
Yeah.
I'm done.
Everyone done with this, or you want me to do, anyone who wants me to do more examples on this thing from polar to rectangular? Because next I'm moving to rectangular to polar.
All right, yeah.
So next thing is we are learning how to convert from, so if you want to write, convert from rectangular to polar coordinates. Rectangular to polar coordinates. How do you do is step 1. Step 1. Always plot the point xy first, and then note the quadrant the point lies in, or the coordinate axis the point lies on. So basically your first step is to plot that point. Plot that point and figure out which quadrant it lies on, or if it lies on a line, figure out where it lies on the line. Where that point is. Your first point is in the rectangular coordinate, so basically that's how you're gonna graph. In this here you plot the point and figure out where it is, which quadrant, first, second, third or fourth, or whether it lies on the line. Step 2 is if x is not equal to 0 or r is not equal to 0, oh sorry, y not r, x or y is not equal to 0, then you're gonna use a formula. R is equal to square root of x squared plus y squared. We're not gonna use this formula. R is equal to x squared plus y squared. Step 3, it says find theta. So we will find our r, but now we need to find our theta. It says if x is not equal to 0 or y is not equal to 0, note the quadrant in which the point lies. Okay, if your point lies in quadrant 1 or 4, if your point lies in quadrant 1 or 4, basically your theta will be equal to tangent inverse of y over x directly. But if it lies in quadrant, quadrant 3, second and 3, your theta will be, you're gonna add pi, whatever in answer you're gonna add pi in that, inverse of y over. That's how you find your theta. Example, let's do an example here. It says, find the polar coordinates of a point whose rectangular coordinates are 2 and -2. Joshua?
Yep.
Okay. 2, -2. Which quadrant does this point lie?
-2 would be quadrant
2, -2. So my x is positive, y is negative. Which quadrant? X positive, y negative.
Wouldn't that be the fourth quadrant?
Yeah, so fourth quadrant. So I know I'm talking about fourth quadrant. That was your step 1 to figure out which quadrant we are talking about. Step 2. Since my x, y are not 0, how will I find my r?
R equals square root of x squared plus y squared.
Exactly. R is equal to square root of x squared plus y squared, which basically becomes square root of
8.
-2 square, which is square root of 4 plus 4, which is square root of 8. And what is square root of 8?
2 radical 2.
2 radical 2. Correct. You found your r. So basically we were supposed to find r theta, and you found your r as 2 root 2. How would you find your theta?
Since it's in quadrant 4, be theta equals tan negative 1 over y over x.
So it will be tangent inverse of y over x, which is what? What's your y?
Negative 2.
Negative 2 over 2, which is basically tangent is equal to tangent, theta is equal to tangent inverse of negative 1. What is tangent inverse of negative 1?
Just with x over y.
X over y, so I did negative 2 over 2. I got negative 2 over 2, right? So I got tangent inverse of negative 1. What is tangent inverse of negative 1?
Oh,
For what angle do I get tangent as negative 1?
was it 360?
So you have your unit circle in front of you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me for which angle is my tangent as negative 1? Tangent is negative in which quadrants? All students take calculus. Second and fourth, right? All students take. T comes here. So this and this it is positive, but for second and fourth it is negative. In fourth quadrant I want my tangent as negative. What angle gives me tangent as negative?
When they all give you negative in quadrant 4?
Yeah, negative 1.
Oh, negative 1. What did 7 pi over 4?
Negative pi over 4. So because pi over 4 is here, right? Which gives me 1. Negative pi over 4 will be here. So basically your theta is negative pi over 4. So it is 2 root 2 negative pi over 4.
Oh, okay.
Make sure you know how to use your unit circle. Let's do one more example here. Again, you are given your rectangular coordinate is negative 1, negative root 3. You need to convert into polar. Now you need to find your r and theta here. Daniel?
You call me?
Yes. How do you find your r?
So your R will be R equals square root of x squared plus y squared.
Which is equal to root square root of x is?
So it will be negative 1 squared, then negative square root of 3 squared. So then it will be 1. Then it will be just negative 3.
Square root of 3 square is just 3, which becomes?
And then it will become 2.
R is? What's square root of 4?
No. Give me a sec.
Yeah.
So,
Daniel, did you get it? How I got here?
yeah, I think you will too.
Yeah.
I got super confused, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay, it's okay. Did you understand how I got 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. How about theta? How do you find theta? First of all, okay, let's see, before finding r, which quadrant is my point, this thing? Negative 1, negative root 3. Which quadrant?
There, 1, it will be in quadrant.
Both negative. Yeah, both negative is third quadrant I'm
Yeah.
talking. When it's third quadrant, which formula am I going to use? The first one or the second one?
The second one, pi plus tangent inverse y over x.
So which is minus root 3 over negative 1. It is pi plus tangent inverse of root 3. What is root? Where do you get root 3 tangent as root 3? Which angle? In first quadrant, see in first quadrant, where is root 3? Tangent.
Tangent, I believe. Tangent is in the third quadrant, am I right?
Yeah, tangent. So basically,
Yeah.
you look in the first quadrant only. You tell me where is the value root 3 for tangent.
Sorry, I get super confused now.
Okay, let's see. Let's draw a unit circle here. Okay, I draw a unit circle here. I have here these things. First comes pi over 6, then pi over 4, then pi over 3. Okay. The coordinates here was 0. Yeah, this was 0, 1. This was 1, 0. This was pi over 2. This was, let's see here. This was root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2. 1 over 2, this is root 3 over 2, this is 1 over 2, this is root 3 over 2. Okay, I have this thing. What is tangent? I know sine is y, cosine is x. How do you find tangent?
Tangent is y over x.
Y over x. So in this case, let's see here. If I divide these two, since they both are exactly, I would get my tangent as 1. If I divide these two, what do I get? I get 1 over 2 divided by root 3 over 2.
It will be... I believe it will be... Well, we can do... Can we do the... We don't have to cross multiply, am I right?
No,
we can just multiply across because we have the same denominator.
Since it's division, Daniel, first you have to change.
Also, it flips them.
Yeah, you flip them and they cancel. You're left with 1 over root 3. What about this one here? Let's see when we divide this one.
Technically, it will be the opposite. Sorry, my English is like not working right now.
It's okay. So you get root 3 over 2 divided by 1 over 2. Right?
It will be square root of 3.
You just get square root 3, right?
Yeah.
So for which angle am I getting square root 3?
Pi over 6.
Pi over 3.
Oh, 3. Sorry.
Pi over 3, yes. Top one. So you get for pi over 3. So in pi over 3, you add pi. What do you get?
You will get 4 pi over 3.
4 pi over 3. Correct. So that's your answer. 2 and 4 pi over 3. Anyone who did not understand this, how to find this? So basically you look in the first quadrant for what value it is root 3. And then basically you add in pi. That's how you find it. Similarly for the previous example, look in the first quadrant for what angle it was 1. Pi by 4. But it was negative 1. So it was negative pi by 4 in the previous example. So this is basically what we did right now is when your x and y are not equal to 0. When your x and y are not equal to 0. They say find values for which x, suppose, so you can say, before going to that I wanted to do example on this. Let's do 61. Okay. I want you to find the polar coordinate for this thing. 1, negative 1. Find polar coordinate for 1, negative 1. I want everyone to do this. Polar coordinate for 1, negative 1. Gerald, Carly, Axel, and one die?
Yes.
Okay. First step is to figure out the quadrant. Which quadrant it is?
It's on
It's on the line, isn't it? If it's -1.
See, 1,
No,
-1. X positive, Y negative.
Yeah, it's like it's on the
Okay. Let's see.
1 is 90.
See
and
here,
then
see here.
-1.
You don't even have to look 90 or something like this. What you do is, in this quadrant, what happens to my X values and Y values? Are they all positive, negative, or negative, positive?
It's all students take calculus.
See, X is positive, Y is
Negative,
positive.
no, positive, negative. There it is.
See here, N1 die, see here. Here X, this is X, right? This side of the X is positive, this side of the X is negative, right?
Yeah.
Similarly here, this side of the X is positive, this is negative, right? Y, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is my X axis, this is my Y axis. For X, this side is negative, this side is positive. For Y, this one is positive, this one is, bottom one is negative, right? I'm talking about my first coordinate. What happens with my first coordinate?
It's positive.
Both are positive, right?
Yes.
What about my second coordinate?
It's positive and negative.
Which one is positive and which one is negative?
The Y is positive, the X is negative.
Okay. What about my third coordinate?
They're all negative.
They're both negative. What about my fourth coordinate?
The X is positive, the Y is negative.
Okay. Now I need, look at this point here, okay? Look, my first, that means my X is positive, Y is negative. Which quadrant am I talking about?
The fourth quadrant.
Exactly. You figured it out now.
Okay.
That's my step 1. Step 2 is to find my, I need to find, basically I'm looking for R and theta. How do you find your R?
The R is 1 and theta is -1?
No.
No, wait, the R is Y. Right?
Yeah, this is X, Y given to you now in rectangular coordinate. We need to find R theta.
Oh.
You remember the steps? How do you find your R? What's the formula for R?
The formula for R is it is R equals the square root of X squared plus Y squared.
Exactly, yes. And what's your X and what's your Y?
The X is 1 and the Y is -1.
Correct. So when you solve this, you will get square root of 1 plus 1, which is square root of 2. You found your R as square root of 2. Now step 3 is, you have to find theta. Which formula are you gonna use since it's in fourth quadrant?
You would use theta equals tangent -1 equals Y over X.
Y over X. So basically it becomes -1 over 1, which is basically tangent inverse of -1. Right?
Yes.
Tangent here is 1 for which angle?
1 for which angle? Oh, it's for 90. Wait, what is that? 360? 90.
Tangent, not sine. Tangent.
Oh. Pi over 2. Tangent.
See here.
Oh, tangent is Y. 0.
See here, 1 for pi over 4. So it becomes negative pi over 4, because since we are talking about in the fourth quadrant.
Oh.
Are you getting my point how I got negative pi over 4 or no?
Because it's in the fourth quadrant.
And if it's
in the unit circle.
Yeah, if this is pi over 4 is giving me 1, negative of pi over 4 will give me -1.
Oh, because it's the thingy. Okay,
yeah, flip, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Any questions, anyone? So for today, I'll do just this much. And make sure you do the homework. I'm going to assign you homework regarding this. Make sure you do that. Any questions for today from today's lecture? Anyone?
No.
No? Okay. The people whose attendance I don't have is Samantha, Gerald, Alejandro, Axel, and Carly. Everybody else, thanks.
Here.
See you tomorrow. Have a nice day, guys. Only people I don't have: Samantha, Gerald, Alejandro, Axel, and Carly.
I'm here.
Miss K.
Yeah.
I just wanted to let you know that I'm not going to be able to be in tomorrow's lecture because I